In part 3, we will discuss interior setup. First, as usual, before we start rendering, we look at references to guide our rendering process. Here, we have several references of interior architectural photography. Observe the lighting positions, the placement of lighting, study, and observe. Once you have observed the original references, you can proceed to apply them to your enscape scene. After you try to observe how it's done in the references, next, we try to practice it in our enscape scene. First, we'll start with the environment lighting. Let's try to capture our first interior scene. Here, we'll try to capture the angle like this. So, we'll capture both the interior facilities and also get a glimpse of the outdoors. To see what the atmosphere is like outside. In this way, we gather a lot of information in one interior scene. Let's first create the scene, create a view, and name it. Then also adjust the custom preset. Let's rename the custom preset according to the view's name. Next, we'll set the camera perspective to 2-point. And also adjust the output for the final rendering result. Here, let's try to capture a custom resolution. We'll try to capture a slightly square resolution, like 2000 x 2000. Alright, next, we'll adjust the field of view to avoid too much distortion. Here, we'll position the bed area to make it look spacious. And then, let's turn off the auto exposure option. Here, let's lock the view first. Okay, now the scene is saved in the view management. Next, we'll try to use a TRI. We'll increase the brightness intensity of the HDRI. As you can see, we get global illumination or the sky's reflection. The blue color on the floor represents the sky's reflection and a light diffusion with gradient. So from the outside to the inside, there's a sense of depth. Here we can also try to adjust and position the sun. But in this case, we don't need to set the position of the sun, because we are only using the HDRI as the source of light, without using the sun for lighting. If we combine it with the sun, there will be overexposure. We can simply decrease the sun's brightness and increase the brightness of the HDRI. So we are utilizing the GI, global illumination, from the environment light. Let's move on to the next slide. The third topic we will discuss is lighting. Here, there's a technique for placing lighting. If you're not familiar with it, you might place 360-degree lighting, and it will illuminate all areas of this room. If you do that, the room will appear overexposed, and there will be no balance between shadow and highlight. As a result, our focus will be lost, because everything is too bright. Here, we will demonstrate what happens if we do that to our interior room. To add lighting to the interior. Here, there's an option on the Enscape toolbar. Here, there are options for lighting. When you click on the toolbar, there are several lighting options available. We will demonstrate what happens if we place 360-degree lighting directly in this room. This is what happens. When we rely on only one light source in the room, everything will look flat. But if we look at the reference, the lighting placed in the interior gradually illuminates the space. It's not all the light that comes out at once. And here, the interplay of shadow and highlight makes the image look good. Okay, let's go back to our interior scene. So, let's start with the environment lighting. Then the lighting comes in from the outside to our room. And we place the lights one by one inside our interior. Here, there are sockets or holes for lighting. So we can simply place the lighting here. Here, we will try to use a line light. So on the ceiling, we will place the lighting here. Then, there will be hidden lights. There might be some here too. So here, we will use a strip light. To place the strip light, we use the rectangular light. We could use a line here, but we usually use rectangular for this. So we have to click several times until the lighting from Enscape appears in the viewport. Next, we try to adjust its rotation, width, and length. And here, we add color to the lights with a warm color. Next, we can finish the rest, filling the entire ceiling and also the hidden light. And when everything is finished, the interior will look like this. So this is the position after we placed all the lighting that we previously sketched. If your place lighting feels insufficient, here we can increase it through the effects in the visual settings. This is the artificial light brightness. We can increase the overall intensity of the lighting together. After finishing the lighting, here we will adjust the lighting a bit again. Here we will decrease the exposure a bit. If we decrease the brightness, now it has an evening mood. Or if you want a daytime mood or a slightly evening mood, it's possible. We can also adjust the lighting to be brighter or darker. After we are done with the lighting, next, we will place the assets or furniture that will fill this interior. Here, we already prepared custom models beforehand. They've been converted, so let's try placing this model. Next, we will detail the empty areas. Perhaps we can add a flower vase here. Maybe there's a lamp here. And there are a few books. We can also add a pot here. Let's use the assets from earlier. These are the assets available in Enscape. There are furniture, lighting, and others. Here, we will add a little highlight to this vase. The vase here is too dark. Unfortunately, we can't change the material of the asset in Enscape. We can add sculptures to add some variety in shapes. Here, we found a model on 3D Warehouse. Let's adjust the position of the curtain that we downloaded from 3D Warehouse. Let's slightly slide the door. We inform that the interior is not fully open. However, here we also have a sliding door with a curtain behind it. It's too closed, let's open it again. It seems here we will add a few interior plants, so that the area doesn't look too empty. Let's add some. Okay, so this is the final result. So we have added some furniture and accessories to our interior. Here we can still change the lighting from the exterior. So when the interior lighting is properly set up, and the positions of shadows and lighting are harmonious, we can adjust it to be daytime or nighttime, and it will still look great. Here we can also use an HDRI for sunset. We provide a little bit of lighting in the bed area to make it more highlighted. This looks good. Alright, it's filled enough. Next, let's try rendering. If we look closely, there are no contact shadows. This might be a little bug in Enscape. If this happens, we can fix it in post-production process.